Hey Tess. Hey,
Hey.
could you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. So, we're doing a multi-part series on the faces and stories of those that participated and led and organized during this 2017 Summer of Defiance, which was for Planned Parenthood and organized by Grassroots Campaigns, Change Corps, and Planned Parenthood and other partners and great organizers like you. We're going to publish this in what we call Grasstops. It'll be a multi-part series, and we're happy that you're able to connect with us today. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Austin, Texas.
Great. Well, I'm in Washington D.C. It's good to connect with you via Skype here. So, Tess, why don't you let's start by just simply telling me who you are, what's your story?
Yeah, of course. So, born and raised in Texas. I'm from Houston originally, and I moved to Austin to come to school. And then, just like so many others, I fell in love and I never left after I graduated college. Um, I actually started off in college as an engineering major, and I didn't like that, but I thought I had to be in STEM. That was what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to be in science. I'd always been good at math and science in school, so I changed to biology with a focus on more the environmental side of things. I thought I wanted to do research, and then I tried doing research, and it turns out I didn't like research because I'm a people person. I love interacting with people. I love getting to know people. Um, and hearing people's stories, and you really don't do much of that in a lab, turns out. Who knew? But I had a couple of professors in college, government professors. It was one of those core classes that I had to take. And I had this one professor, he came in with an Indiana Jones hat and drank water out of a flask every day. But he was one of the most interesting guys I'd um, ever had the pleasure of learning from. And he really connected with us and talked to us about what it means to be an engaged and responsible citizen and someone who um, takes the privileges that come with and the rights and privileges that come with being a citizen seriously. And that's what really sparked my interest in government and politics. And from then on, I took a couple other classes. I took a class on social movements and some sociology classes, and it really just started to spark my interest and my passion for this kind of work. Um, and then I got involved, participated in some protests in college, and then I got involved with nonprofit work through a group called Texas 4000 for Cancer, which is a nonprofit here in Austin that partners with the university. And every year, a group of college students rides from Austin, Texas to Anchorage, Alaska to raise money for cancer research and support programs. And so I applied and participated in that program while I was in college. And I did that ride in the summer of 2015. And so that was kind of my first real taste of nonprofit work, of it wasn't organizing exactly, but it was in a sense. There was still the fundraising aspect of and having that common mission, that common goal that we were working towards as a team, and having to put this together because the students are the ones that kind of organize the ride and do a lot of the groundwork for it, because there's a lot of work that goes into biking 4,000 miles in 70 days.
So
So
you
that's
did
kind of my
you did
first.
you did that by bicycle.
Yes, by bicycle.
How long did that take?
70 days. So you have a year and a half leading up to that summer, where you're planning the ride, you're fundraising, you're training, you're doing all that with your teammates, and then it culminates in that summer ride, and you go for 70 days and you bike to Alaska, and it's broken up. I mean, you stay in a new place every day, but it's about 80 miles a day on average in
Wow.
biking.
So, how did you get from there to becoming a Planned Parenthood Fellow for the Summer of Defiance?
Well, after that, I really like got the bug and was like, this is what I want to do. I want to find a way to connect with people and really make a difference and make positive change in the world. And so after I graduated, I went on to work for Austin Partners in Education, and that's where I'm currently at now. And they are an education nonprofit here in Austin. And but during the summers, they let out, and because it's a nonprofit, they can't afford to keep us on for the whole summer. So I needed a summer job, and that's where I found Planned Parenthood's Summer of Defiance program, and it was exactly what I wanted to do. I had started doing a little bit of organizing with a group called JOLT. It's a Latino advocacy group here in Austin. I started to learn how to do some organizing with them, but I wanted to know more, and I wanted to know more about what it meant to be on a campaign and how campaigns work. And I really believe in what Planned Parenthood does and their mission, and so it sounded exactly like something that I would want to partake in.
Tell me a little bit about that bug, when you got the bug.
Well, I had never been so excited about something before. Like the other things that I had thought that I was supposed to do, like the science and engineering and all of that, I was never super excited about it. But then, participating in Texas 4000, participating in Austin Partners in Education, and the work that JOLT does, as I started meeting more people and hearing how passionate they are about these causes and about the work that's happening, seeing how much they enjoyed what they were doing, it was infectious, right? And it's like, I want to do that. I want to be that happy to go to work every day. I want to be that excited, and just seeing how much change there is in the day to day. No day is ever the same, and that's kind of what drew me in, and really. And hearing people on the ground, their stories, and why they got involved, why they were passionate about what they were doing, was really kind of just connected with me and made me want to pursue it.
How did you feel then when you were accepted as a Planned Parenthood Fellow for the Summer of Defiance?
I was so excited. I actually I was telling my best friend after I came from the group interview. I was like, man, I don't think I'm going to get it. There were so many impressive people in that room. And if they're only taking 10 people, I don't know if I'm in that top half. Because this person has done this thing and this person's done this thing. And I thought everyone just seemed so passionate and so impressive and so deserving of the position that I was like, I don't think I've got it. I don't think I got this one. But then I got the call, and Alejandro, the lead organizer for Austin, the Austin campaign, gave me a call and let me know that he wanted me on the team, and I was so excited that I was just and dumbfounded. I was just like, really? That was the first words out of my mouth, like, really? You're choosing me? And yeah, I was just really stoked to be able to be a part of something.
What did you think you were getting into?
So I kind of knew a little bit about it, that we were going to be learning how to run a campaign and be organizers. There's going to be some training involved. It was kind of a learn-on-the-go experience, and it was going to be very, very hands-on, and we're going to be in the community doing some work for Planned Parenthood. But I wasn't really aware of the extent of what we would be doing and what those goals are. So it was definitely kind of a trial by fire sort of thing.
So what was it? Could you share a little background for people that don't know? Like what was the Summer of Defiance? What did you do?
So the Summer of Defiance campaign was this program trying to get more young people involved and trained to be a new generation of activists and organizers. So it was in, I believe, 9 or 10 different cities across the country, and each had their own goals focused at the needs in each state. So in Texas specifically, not only were we trying to get our senators to vote no on the repeal of the Affordable Care Act and thus the defunding of Planned Parenthood, but we were also in the middle of a special legislative session in which there were multiple anti-choice pieces of legislation up for vote in the special session. So we were also targeted there at that state level. So we had to. Summer of Defiance was a month-long campaign in which 10 of us, most of us had very little organizing or campaign experience, had to meet these different goals, phone banking, getting people to call their representatives to vote no, tell them to vote no on the ACA repeal, getting petitions signed, planning events like rallies, getting people out to rallies, getting volunteers, and culminating in our healthcare town hall that we had at the end of the month. And so doing what an entire campaign in just a 1 month period.
So, for the listeners out there, well, let me just read the city. So, we were in Anchorage, Alaska, Issaquah, Washington State, Des Moines, Iowa, Detroit, Michigan, Louisville, Kentucky, Union County, New Jersey, Billings, Montana, Fort Wayne, Indiana, Muncie, Indiana, and Austin, Texas. So you were in Austin, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why should people know about what's happening in Texas and why? Like, what's going on in why is Texas important? Out of all the cities we were in, what's special about Texas?
So Texas is very important in that it has some of the worst restrictions on abortion care and just affordable health care in general. They actually already defunded Planned Parenthood at the state level in 2013, and subsequently we have higher teen pregnancy rates, we have higher rates of STIs, and we have the highest mortality rate of any developed country in the world. So we are kind of a testament to what happens when you get rid of programs like Planned Parenthood. We had like 80 or so clinics, and now we're down to 34 in the state. And there are areas of the state where women have to drive hundreds of miles to access some of the services that Planned Parenthood provides. And so I think here in Texas, it's so important because we have so much need, and we kind of are proof of why it is such a bad idea to defund Planned Parenthood and to get rid of these programs, because people need them.
So, I imagine you came across a lot of fellow citizens. I imagine, first off, I imagine you knew that when you were going into this, when you were applying to be a fellow with Planned Parenthood Summer of Defiance at the beginning of the summer. And I imagine you, as a Texan, came across a lot of women and a lot of fellow citizens that knew the importance of this organizing in Texas at a state level. So tell me about one moment where you felt pride. You felt proud of the mission that you were, a part of and leading there in Texas as part of the Summer of Defiance.
I'm proud of all of the work that we did as a campaign and as a team. We accomplished all of our goals, but I think one of the coolest things, this didn't happen to me personally, but we were going out to different businesses and organizations and things to put up flyers about the town hall that we're having at the end of the month. And two of my fellows, if you will, went to a clinic called Manos de Cristo, and they provide dental care for people who are low income, who don't have insurance, who are undocumented, and we're putting up flyers there. And as they were leaving, they ran into this woman with her child, and she'd kind of been smiling at them and had heard what they said, and so they went over there to give her a flyer to invite her to the town hall, the healthcare town hall, and she was just so happy about what we were doing, and she was just like, thank you so much for what y'all are doing. This is so important, and was just really like seemed so grateful for the work that we were doing and putting into this. And so I think it's moments like that that really made me proud to be a part of it, even if I wasn't there personally. And in the town hall, we had so many amazing panelists, all of these just wonderful women who are doing such good work in the community. Executive director of NARAL Pro-Choice Texas. We had a senator and representative, Gina Hinojosa, who is a representative of Austin and doing amazing work. One of the outnumbered Democrats, unfortunately, in the Texas state legislature. But seeing all of those amazing women up there speaking, talking about the work that they're doing, and all the people that were engaging with that and asking questions, and so happy to be there. I think all of those just made me very proud to be a part of the program.
Could you tell me what led up to the town hall? Because the town hall was more or less the culmination of your organizing efforts. Tell us a little bit like what happened leading up to that.
So there was a lot of work, obviously, that went into the town hall, and all of us were given, kind of at the beginning of the campaign, we were each given realms, kind of the realm that we were in charge of. So somebody was in charge of phone banking, somebody was in charge of canvassing. I was given the realm of town hall, so that was kind of what I was in charge of from the beginning.
Very cool.
But there was a lot of work going into that, and first of all, we needed to kind of start getting our name out, start talking to people, engaging with people in the community. So that was a lot of canvassing and phone banking on the front end. So when I say canvassing, I mean going out into the community, talking to people, getting them to sign the petition, and letting them know what we're out there doing, and really starting to get the word out and trying to get people involved, trying to get people to want to volunteer with us, want to be a part of the cause. And same kind of goes with phone banking. We weren't only trying to phone bank people to get them to call their representatives, but we were also phone banking them to get them to come out to rallies, to get them to volunteer with us, to come out to the town hall. So there was a lot of that on the front end of trying to recruit people and really reach out to people in the community. We also had to start planning very early on, and there was a lot of coalition building. So linking up with, because we only had a month to do this, to put on this campaign, we didn't have necessarily the time to start from scratch in creating a base of our own. So it took a lot of work reaching out to local organizations that we knew of, that we had connections at. There's a lot of amazing progressive organizations here in Austin. Making those connections and reaching out to people and convincing them this is a cause that they should be on board with. And using those bases and those groups to kind of help spread the word about what was happening and access their volunteers and their people, and put together an even better event. So we had quite a few of them actually end up tabling at the town hall and having people there. So that was really amazing. But just a lot of that planning and reaching out and building the framework for what was going to be the town hall.
Even your cat is proud of you.
Yeah. My roommate's about to walk in, so
That's,
he's waiting.
No worries. So it must have felt empowering.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I felt so much more like I had a say in what happened in my state. I felt so much more like, hey, now I have the tools to really start to make some of that change that I want to see, and to move my state forward and get it more towards what I want out of it and what I want to see, the policies that I want passed. And I think that was very empowering. And another thing that was, I think, really touched me was the amount of people that we met, and also on my team, who had been affected by the very issues that Planned Parenthood advocates for. So I met numerous people who had been sexually assaulted, who had had to get an abortion, or had scares and things like that, or Planned Parenthood was the only place that they could go to access care because of lack of health insurance. And I think that was empowering as well, because it's like, here are these people who are facing these issues, and they are doing everything that they can to advocate for themselves and advocate for others so they don't have to go through those situations. That was very powerful.
Was there ever a moment where you felt fear?
So that was one thing I knew from the get-go. I've lived in Texas all of my life, and I know the climate, the political climate here, and there are a lot of people who have many misconceptions about Planned Parenthood and what they do, and are very vocal about how against it they are. And I knew that that was something that we could face here in Texas. Even though Austin is a fairly liberal city, we like to say a dot of blue and a sea of red, it's still Texas. And there are still those people. And I don't think I ever was scared in particular, but there was a moment in which I was canvassing, and there was a lady that I approached I was asking her to sign a petition, and she was very clearly against it. So I was like, thank you for your time. Have a nice day. And I moved on. She came up to me again later and was trying to argue with me again and continuing to be pretty antagonistic. And again, I made the point of separating myself from her, and then she followed me again, and so that I wasn't necessarily scared as much as it got in the way of me being able to do my job and connect with other people who do care about this cause and who don't want to see Planned Parenthood defunded. So I was lucky enough that there was never anything that was dangerous per se or like scary.
Tell me a little bit about sisterhood or brotherhood. I mean, you did this together with a solid team. Did you feel a sense of camaraderie while you were doing this?
Oh, absolutely. Actually, from the very beginning. So the 4 days of 4 days of training, we were flown out to Newark, New Jersey, and the Austin people were staying at a hotel together. So from the very beginning, it was kind of like summer camp. The hotel was right by the airport, so we couldn't really go anywhere. We didn't have any vehicles. So we were kind of like stranded in the hotel together, and we made the best of it. We had gotten, first night we all went together to get groceries to buy for those 4 days, and we shared amongst each other. My room, actually, there was 3 people to a room, and my room actually happened to be the kind of hangout spot where we would all kind of debrief at the end of the day. After we'd gone through the day of training, everybody would meet in our room, and we'd kind of like talk about things that we learned that day, get to know each other better, and of course eat, share food, and things like that. So I think that having that kind of vibe from the beginning made it even better when we actually started the campaign, because we had already gotten to know each other. We had built that trust, started to build that camaraderie, and it made it even better going forward, because when we hit the ground running, we were able to know, like, I already know that I can trust you, and that you're going to get this done. And everybody was very proactive. Like, as soon as they got the things that they needed to done and they were hitting their goals, they weren't looking back. They were moving forward and helping somebody else. And we all kind of worked together to accomplish the things we accomplished. And like, while I was given the realm of town hall, like I was the lead on that, everybody worked together to put that on and make it a success. And it wouldn't have been without all of them. So I think, yes, there was definitely that camaraderie.
What was what was one thing that you learned in New Jersey as you prepared and trained for the work in Texas? So do you remember like one thing that sticks with you?
There was so many things that that I took away from that, but I think the number one was how to share your story, but also how to listen to others, and how to listen to what it is they're saying and use that as a way to plug them in to the movement. And kind of that idea that to be a good organizer, you need to be a good listener, because you need to be able to listen to the people in the community that you're serving, in order to really know what the issues that they care about are. What is it? Where are they coming from? What is their story? How do they connect to this movement? Why do they care about it? What issues are affecting them? And you can't really do that unless you really listen to them and take the time to get to know those people. So I think that was one of the biggest things.
Great. Well, now, speaking as someone who was brought on board, who was trained, who executed, not only executed this part for the initiative, Summer of Defiance, but you were the lead organizer for the town hall, the culminating event. So you bring a good amount of experience for future organizers. Do you have any tips besides the importance of listening as an organizer?
Yes, be flexible. Be able to work on your feet. I think someone who is adaptable is going to go far, because things change, plans change from day to day. Things you can plan, but most likely things are not going to go exactly as you thought they would, and you have to be able to not only work fast to fix things and just go with it, but you also have to be able to like let it go. Like, things aren't going as planned, that's okay. Move on. Let's figure out a way to make this work, and let's figure out a way to still make this a great event, or whatever it is you're planning for. So I think that would be a big thing, is learn how to be flexible, learn how to adapt, learn how to let things go, as well as that listening component.
Could you give one example of what happened and how you learned to be flexible and how to think on your feet and adapt? What happened?
Lots of things, really. I mean, one of the things was, we were like, okay, we need to get this many people to the town hall. And it's that, there's a rule of like working in halves. So if you need 40 people to show up, you need to get 80 confirms, because more than likely only half of those people you confirm are actually going to show up. And so one of the ways that was kind of like the best way of getting people there is through phone banking. If you can get somebody confirmed through phone banking, get them on the phone, that kind of adds to those numbers of people you're connecting with. Well, that was one of our primary ways of trying to get people to the town hall. We were like, okay, we're going to get this many confirms through phone banking. And then we started phone banking, and we were phone banked for several hours, and we did it for a couple of days, and we only got probably 15 people to confirm, and maybe 20, and it's like, okay, clearly, even though all of us are phone banking, we're all trying to call these people and connect, this is not working. This is not getting us the numbers that we need to be able to get people to the town hall. So we had to come together. We were trying to stay on schedule, because the town hall was happening within the next week or so, and figure out another way to get people to go there. So we had a Facebook page, but Facebook is still, people are kind of flaky with that. Like, people say they're going, but it's a lot lower return rate. So what we did is we came together. One of the other fellows made this flyer and designed it and everything. And then we just started going out to all the businesses and things that we knew, asking them to put up flyers in if there's a coffee shop or some sort of organization where people came and got services. Just going out and canvassing these places, as well as really relying on those coalition partners. Like, hey, can you share this with your members? Can you blast this on Facebook? Can you send this out in your newsletter or whatever it is that you do? And figuring out those alternate ways to get people to show up to the events or confirm to go to the events. Because the tactic that we had originally chosen, originally planned on, just wasn't working. We weren't seeing the results for that. And we ended up surpassing our goal. We had a goal of getting 40 people to the town hall. We had right around 100 people at the town hall. So we were able to
So it worked.
make a plan and come together, make a plan, and execute that plan. And we exceeded our goals. So.
Wow. So how do you feel about what you achieved?
I feel pretty great. I was, I have to say, I was a little worried leading up to it, because I was like, oh man, like, you know, again with the phone banking and things, like, oh, that fell through. Like, we can't really. There's no way of really knowing how many people are actually going to go, because, you know, if you're just putting flyers up in businesses, they're not necessarily RSVPing or confirming in that they're going to go. So I was like, oh, I'm not sure if we're going to hit our numbers and things like that. But you know, the team of us, we pulled it together, and it went wonderfully, actually, just fairly smoothly. And
so what does this mean now going forward? Like, how does
what do you mean?
How does this this summer's work fit into the life, health, and survival of Planned Parenthood?
So I think not only have we all gained the training and knowledge that we need to go on and be activists and organizers in our community, and to be further resources to Planned Parenthood, but also we've kind of we got volunteers who were amazing and did such great work for us over campaign, and we're passing those on to the state affiliate, Planned Parenthood Texas Votes, and all of those things that we did plug into what they're doing, and those petitions and handwritten letters that we got, all of those have been delivered to our senators, and so they know that there are people in Texas who care about Planned Parenthood and don't want it to be taken away. And so I think we've kind of helped continue the momentum here in Texas towards some of these like progressive movements like Planned Parenthood, and like getting more people in the community just excited about it and activated and wanting to continue the fight after this.
So going forward, Tess, what are your hopes and aspirations for Planned Parenthood, particularly in Texas?
Well, lots of them. We're facing some strong anti-choice legislation here in Texas. The bathroom bill that was proposed was defeated, thankfully. So that's the transgender bathroom bill, where people would be forced to use the bathroom that was that goes along with the gender assigned to them at birth. Luckily, that was defeated, but there were some anti-choice legislation that did get passed, and so trying to figure out what does Planned Parenthood do next? How do we address this issue? How do we continue to provide services and provide access to the people that need it? Because there are so many people in Texas. There's so many vulnerable populations, in particular in Texas, the undocumented community, who need these services, and they can't necessarily get them at other places. And so my hope is that we find a way to continue to provide those services, and moving forward, find a way to fight this legislation, and whether that's in the courts or through elections or whatever it may be, figuring out the way that we can overturn this and show our representatives and our legislators that this is not what Texas wants. This is not what is best for Texas. So that's kind of my hope going forward.
What's your hope for you, Tess Ortega? What do you hope to do now?
So actually, I just got a job as a lead organizer for JOLT Texas. So JOLT is a Latino civic engagement organization that kind of just got started last year. The founder, she co-founded the Workers' Defense Project, actually, when she was only like 24, Christina Sinsun, and did a lot of amazing work there, organizing workers and immigrant workers in particular here in Texas. And now she's started JOLT, and we're really focused on bringing together the Latino community here in Texas, because we make up such a huge portion of the population, but we don't see it represented in our elected officials and in the policies that are being passed, like the Senate Bill 4 that got signed into law, that is the anti-sanctuary cities bill, and that threatens the Latino community and the undocumented community as well. So I started volunteering with them in March, started learning some organizing things with them, doing voter drives and different events and things, and they're really starting to build momentum. We just had a Quinceanera at the Capitol event that went national, was covered by lots of different places, and including a piece by MTV. And it's these girls who, most of them are high schoolers, some of them are undocumented, going and doing this Quinceanera.
Yeah, why don't you say what a Quinceanera is for people who
So
may not know?
Quinceanera, for those of you who don't know, it's a coming-of-age celebration primarily in the Latino community. When a girl turns 15, it's a way of celebrating her becoming a woman. And so JOLT decided to use this as symbolism. So when a girl turns 15, she becomes a woman and she takes on more responsibility in the family. And this was these girls taking on the responsibility of fighting for their families and defending their families and their culture as being attacked by our legislators and representatives. And so we had this big event, and it went really well, and we're starting to get a lot of national media attention now on SB4 and what is happening here in Texas. So I just got hired as the lead organizer for them, and I'm really, really excited for everything going forward and for the opportunity that Planned Parenthood Summer of Defiance campaign. Without that, I wouldn't have been able to get this job, because I wouldn't have had the experience needed to be able to do this work. So I think it was very applicable in this role that I'm about to take on in this transition. So
Great.
Definitely grateful for that.
Great. Is there anyone in particular you miss dearly? What are your hopes and aspirations for your fellows?
I know that they're all going to do amazing things. Most of them are in Austin. We had one fellow who is from the Valley in Texas, the Rio Grande Valley, and she's going back to go to school and do organizing. But we had several who were still in school, and then some of us who have already graduated. But after seeing the work that they did on this campaign, I know that they're going to go forward and do amazing things, and I can't wait to witness it. And hopefully we'll be running into them in town through different organizations and things like that, because the progressive community here in Austin is fairly tight-knit, so I'm excited for that.
Well, Tess, congratulations. Thank you for connecting with us today. The fight, as you know, the fight continues.
Indeed.
So
thank you so much for having me. I was very happy to have this experience and to talk with you.
Great. Is there anything else you'd like to say? Any parting words or any message for all your fellows?
No, just keep fighting that good fight, and I know they're all going to do amazing things, and can't wait to hopefully work with them again in the future.
Great. Well, thanks, Tess. Have a good one down there in Austin. Hope to connect with you again sometime soon.
All right, appreciate it. Have a good one.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.